Welcome back. And just before we move on to that South Sudan story, still talking global market, Nasdaq-Dubai has launched a single stock futures market in an attempt to attract fresh money to the United Arab Emirates equity markets. It will offer the contracts on a handful of stocks, including some of the biggest companies in the UAE.
The Emirates has become only the second country in the Gulf region to introduce futures trading, with foreign investors set to benefit. This is a common feature of many markets in the world, from the Far East to London to New York. But until now, Kuwait was the only Gulf country to offer futures.
This is extremely important for the region. It's the next natural step. Moving away from the cash markets. It's going to help the cash markets grow. Obviously, we're very proud to be part of this initiative.
To begin, futures will only be offered for 7 stocks in the UAE, including global port operator DP World and international telecom firm Etisalat. The 7 companies account for almost half of the traded value in the UAE market, and so there will be a good test for the appetite for futures. Both Dubai and Abu Dhabi stock exchanges have actively looked to attract more investment from the Far East in recent years, particularly from China. But analysts predict it may be a while before those investors are interested in futures.
We're hoping that by launching derivatives, futures, and the market we expect to pick up at some point in the beginning of next year, then yes. Then we will have the GCM ready, we'll have institutions more prepared to come and trade futures, and yes, then we will have more interest from Asia and other markets.
Nasdaq-Dubai says it wants to eventually offer futures based on UAE stock indexes as well as on shares of other countries in the region. With over 1,600 contracts traded in the first day, the arrival of futures is likely to attract more international investment and marks another sign of the maturing of Gulf markets.
And here in Africa, South Sudan's inflation more than doubled in July to reach an annual rate of 661.3% as the economy of the 5-year-old nation continued to reel amid civil conflict. The world's newest country has been devastated by war since December 2013, when soldiers loyal to President Salva Kiir clashed in the capital, Juba, with troops loyal to his former deputy, Riek Machar.
The young East African country won independence from Sudan in 2011, but in 2013 it slid into a civil war after a dispute between President Salva Kiir and his former deputy Riek Machar. The National Bureau of Statistics says that inflation jumped from 309.6% a month earlier, raising prices of basic goods and commodities in the market beyond the reach of most South Sudanese. Movement of people and goods into the country, which depends heavily on import, has been cut off as many traders flee while armed militia extort remaining suppliers, leading to higher commodity prices.
Everything here comes from Uganda and the road is closed. Transportation of the goods to reach here is a problem. Clearance is expensive. The roadblocks here are expensive, and so if we don't sell our commodities at high prices, what can we get?
The years of civil war have left more than 10,000 people dead and displaced more than 2 million, many of whom have fled to neighboring Uganda, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Sudan. Uganda hosts almost 310,000 South Sudanese, and WFP says that 1,000 refugees are arriving each day in the country. The government is planning to ask China for a $1.9 billion loan, a sum equal to more than a fifth of its national output, to be used for infrastructure projects such as roads, bridges, and rebuilding of old plants.
We are going to resume production as early as December in Unity State, Unity oil fields, and also in Tarjat. We are also increasing the production in Palosh by December. So this is actually what we are doing. One of the challenges is to make sure that we have money for the implementation of the agreement.
South Sudan's economy, which the World Bank values at $9.015 billion, has suffered from reduced oil production, the country's main source of revenue, as oil fields have been cut off and global prices have dropped.
The production of oil in South Sudan has decreased. We are producing oil now only on Upper Nile State. Unity is not producing. The prices of oil have gone down. We rely on commodities imported from neighboring countries. So the way out for the crisis in South Sudan is for the government of South Sudan to develop the agriculture so that people of South Sudan can feed themselves rather than importing food from outside.
Oil accounts for 98% of the country's budget.
Now, the sale of British bank Barclays Egyptian business has attracted bids from the two largest banks in Morocco and the United Arab Emirates. The UK-based lender is seeking to sell its African operations as part of a plan by Chief Executive Jes Staley to simplify its structure and improve shareholder returns, although attempts to sell the African businesses as one have come up against difficulties, including the desperate nature of the local units. Interested parties have been invited to submit bids for the Egyptian unit by the end of August. By this deadline, both Morocco's Attijari Wafa and Dubai-based Emirates NBD lodged offer. Barclays has 56 branches and serves around 127,000 customers in Egypt, where it first established a foothold in 1864. And now let's cross over to FMDQ interbank market here in Nigeria for currency trading. And I'm being joined by an forex dealer with Diamond Bank, Uyi Ohehen. Good afternoon, Uyi.
Good afternoon, Chimeze. Thank you for having me on today.
You're welcome. Now, the Naira closed at 330 to the dollar yesterday. What level are we seeing it today?
Okay, thank you very much. The market, which opened at 314.50, are relatively stable. I'm not part of the trading section. So far, we're still trading within the band of 310 and 315. And also, we see our the Apex Bank coming to the market to intervene through some primary market dealers.
Now, what is the current system liquidity?
So far, so good. We see the Apex Bank coming in to intervene through some primary market dealers. And also, we see some trickles of inflows coming to the market also through some autonomous sources. So far, they are not doing bad. We are... The market is a little bit stressed compared to where we are coming from.
Right, not doing bad. So what is your general outlook so far for the market from what you have observed so far? This is the midweek.
Can you come again?
What is your outlook for the market?
Okay, good. For now, my outlook is that we'll see the Apex Bank have insisted that they will continue to intervene in the market through the primary market, primary market. My outlook is that I believe that the market will continue to remain stable at this current level. We'll see market continue to trade within this band of 310 and 320.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Uyi. And, of course, staying here in West Africa, Ghana plans to sell its first 10-year local currency bond next month, issuing 200 million cedis. That's about $50.42 million of debt as part of an effort to borrow over longer periods at lower interest rates. The country's finance minister said the new bond, the longest maturity ever for cedi-denominated debt, is open to offshore investors. The bonds will target capital expenditure, and the government will no longer use short-term debt for infrastructure projects. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll look at the fixed market. Do stay with us.